Do you know this hero? So this is Hercules. Hercules is the son of Zeus, right? Was born a demigod with incredible strength. Do you know that Hercules had multiple wives? His first wife is Megara, and they had many sons, pero gipatay ni Hercules. His second wife is Deianira. In Greek mythology, Hercules is often depicted as one of the Argonauts. So what does Argonauts mean? Alright, so Argonauts, it is a group of heroes led by Jason, who sailed on a ship called the Argo. Now, unsa man ang role ni Hercules diri sa story aside from unsa siya ka Argonauts? We all know that Hercules kay one of the greatest heroes in Greek mythology. His reputation as a hero was renowned for his incredible strength and bravery, making him a natural choice to join Jason's quest. So, ari na pud ta sa role sa mga Argonauts in this story. So, it is a group of powerful and skilled individual nga nitabang ni Jason who retrieve sa Golden Fleece. Pero ang storyline ni Hercules ends earlier than the other quest.
Characters: Jason, the rightful heir to the throne of Lolkos. Hercules, the strongest man alive with a mighty heart to match. Orpheus, charmer of nature and master of music. Castor and Pollux, the twin trickers hatches from an egg. Boreas, son of the north wind and could hurtle through the air. Jason and Argonauts. Jason, the rightful heir to the throne of Lolkos, gathers a crew of heroes, including Hercules, Castor and Pollux, Orpheus, and others, to sail on the ship Argo to retrieve the place. The heroes. Back in Greece, the rightful king of Lolkos, Aeson, was overthrown by his half-brother, Peleus. When Aeson's son Jason came of age, he demanded that he be given his throne. Peleus countered by telling him that to have to take the golden fleece. Jason accepted and set about enlisting the greatest heroes of Greece to help him. The list varies in the telling, but generally, Heracles, aka Hercules, Orpheus, Castor, and Polydeuces or Pollux, the winged son of the north wind, Zetes and Callias, Peleus, father of Achilles, and Philoctetes, are named as Argonians. Members of the Argonaut crew, bound for Colchis, somewhere in the modern Georgia, they were named the Argonauts after the name of their ship, the Argo.
Hercules, the strongest man alive with a mighty heart to match. Orpheus, charmer of nature and master of music. Castor and Pollux, the twin tricksters hatched from an egg. The Boreads, son of the north wind who could hurtle through the air. For untold times, these heroes roamed ancient Greece, creating new legends wherever they went. But none of their adventures was so great as when they joined forces for the sake of a young man named Jason. Years before, Jason's uncle, Peleus, had ruthlessly usurped the throne of Thessaly from Jason's grandfather. When Jason returned to his father's stolen court, the cowardly king set him a seemingly impossible task. Cross the teeming seas to Colchis and steal the golden fleece of a flying ram under King Aeetes' nose. If Jason retrieved the fleece, Peleus promised to relinquish the throne. Touched by his heroic mission, the gods spread Jason's call for help, and soon he had assembled a not-so-motley crew. These heroes, alongside countless sailors, soothsayers, and rebel demigods, named themselves the Argonauts after their sturdy ship. But the path ahead was marked with untold terrors, enough to test even the fiercest heroes. Their first stop was Lemnos, an isle of women who had killed all the island's men. As punishment, Aphrodite had cursed them with a sickening stench, but that didn't stop Jason fathering twins with the queen. The rest of the crew also found themselves embroiled in new romances until Hercules chastised them for not behaving like heroes. Eventually, they sailed on to the Mount of Bears, an island where a group of ancient, six-armed monsters live alongside the peaceful Doliones. While the clan welcomed the Argonauts with open arms, the monsters surged down from the mountains and hurled rocks at the dock ship. Hercules held them off single-handedly before his comrades joined the fray. Bolstered by their victory, the triumphant heroes sailed onwards, only to be blown back to the island several stormy nights later. In the tempest, the Dalians thought these new arrivals invaders. The Argonauts were similarly unaware of their surroundings and fought blunderingly in the dark, slaying wave after wave of foe. But the morning light revealed a horrible truth. Their victims were none other than their previous host. Yet again, Jason had allowed the crew to be distracted, this time at a terrible cost. Ashamed at his conduct, he resolved to focus only on the Fleece, but even this haste proved ruinous. When Hercules' squire was abducted by a water nymph, Jason sailed on oblivious to the absence of his most powerful crewmate. The remaining Argonauts continued their quest until stopping at the side of an old man surrounded by a swirl of harpies. This was Phineus, a seer cursed by Zeus to endure old age, blindness, and endless torture for giving away his prophecies. Moved by his plight, the Wind Brothers set upon the flock, providing Phineus with a brief respite from his punishment. In return, the seer told them how to overcome the terrifying trial that lay ahead. The Symplegades, a pair of clashing rocks that reduced ships to splinters. But first, the Argonauts would have to maneuver past the Mount of Hell around the island of the bloodthirsty Amazons. Under psychedelic skies. These adventures cost the crew both in men and moral, and some feared they might be losing their minds. Upon reaching the clashing rocks, the exhausted crew quaked with fear, but Phineus' advice rang in their heads. The Argonauts released a single dove and sped through in its wake to emerge unscathed. With this narrow escape, the Argonauts finally had Colchis in their sights. Yet, while Jason rested and celebrated with his crew, he could feel his time around them was drawing to a close. As the Fleece gleamed in his wind, he knew he would have to retrieve it alone, but he could not guess that this final task would have the most horrible price of all.